Of course, Seaside, myself, that's me. I'm joined by Scrawny, who's actually not too scrawny, by the way. The name is misleading.
Is it?
A little bit. I mean, you got some meat on your bones. I'll be real with you. Most scrawny people don't. So
Well, thank you for noticing.
you're welcome. man.
Seaside.
Yeah, not that I've looked at you that hard, but you know, I just throwing that out there.
We got a pistol round Deeg from Mitch, and he's trying to get a pick from T-Con. Nothing as of yet, though. He's going to get dropped to 66 points of health, so Renegades just holding the line. Waiting for these sorts of peaks, where Neptune just decides to pop the head of Nifty ×2. Yustillo tries to fall back, well, he can't get that trade frag, so now all of a sudden this defense is going to get split upon, and if they're not careful, it could cost them their lives. Azza from the top of the train takes one, and Nexa pops a skull of his own, but it's Mitch with the Deeg to respond with at least something here for Ghost to play with.
Neptune looking for a second. He is going to get a JKS and a third. Neptune with his Glock going to town. Now Ghosts have a man advantage, but Nexa has positioning. They don't know he's here, but he did just get spotted by Neptune, who's going to try to peek into it to find a fourth, but he has to be careful. He needs help from his teammate Mitch, as Nexa's just going to fall to Z, and he is just going to sit tight, waiting for these players from from Ghost to make a misstep. And there it is, but Neptune, he's good for it. He's got all four. The young fragger puts up four frags for Ghost to pick up the pistol. And that's what they need, right? It's kind of like the same idea with Mouse Sports. Although they are in a better place now, I feel like Ghost needs that one player to almost step up kind of like every game.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same ideology.
I mean, because of their constantly shuffling roster, you need those individual players to really put up something, right? And Neptune gets as many kills in that round as they had rounds in the last map. Which is an accomplishment in and of itself, right? So Ghosts start off on the front foot. They get that one round already on the T side of Train. So they're par for the course, even if they can just convert these two consequent rounds off of the pistol. It does help, of course, that Nifty gets aggressive and costs himself his life. We see Renegades trying to go for that scout pistol quasi, but for the time being, they have found nothing from it. It's going to be SMGs for the most part on Ghost. The one AK for Neptune. He's earned it.
Definitely has. He's worth his weight in gold now. As Ghost going to gain upper ground control. The bomb is there, as they will deal with Davey. So that's pressure alleviated from the Ivy side. Yustillo going to shift himself back sight. Spots that one player. That's Wardell pushing him with a MAC-10. Wardell would love some extra cash, but Azur gets behind him, and all of a sudden, this round's starting to look a little shaky from Ghosts, as they will be able to cleanly push in the B site. Connor and Neptune are good for a frag apiece. The bomb's going to go down. Yustillo and Azur now to try to retake B with no utility, no kit. And Neptune shutting down the flank. That should be the round, as Yustillo just on a scout. And unless he has some unreal scout shots in him, it's going to become increasingly more difficult as time ticks on.
Yeah, he has no kit, so time is going to be his biggest enemy at this point. There's even a Molotov on Neptune, so he could just do that classic bank molly and just deny any possibility of a defuse, right? With it being a 10-second defuse as well, that'd be a great way to kind of prevent any more deaths. You want both of these terrorists to stay alive, and they will. No Molotov needed. Notably as well, we've changed out players. We have now minus Shot Up and plus Connor 93. So he's always a welcome presence. Had a slight stint with Selfless at E-League. Has been playing between the BMC and E-United rosters as well.
He used to play with the
he's been up there, right? He's one of these kind of more experienced premier players. So this is a nice addition and maybe enough to give Ghost a bit more of a fighting chance. They will get that conversion point. It's just pistols for Renegades. This should be 3-0.
Yeah, and they're going to go to the site that has no Renegades members. So the luck of the draw, Renegades get unlucky, Ghosts get extremely lucky. No one's there, it's not a stack, free bomb plant, and now the MAC-10s can go forward and hunt. That's exactly what Davey has in store as he comes around. He gets one, but due to the amount of players here, it's not for Davey to get any more. Wardell will get help from Mitch. So it is just going to be pretty much clean up crew up from Ghosts. Azur last one remaining, and he gets shut down from Neptune. So Ghosts get 3 clean rounds. And it's good to see them stringing rounds together, as Mirage is kind of a wash. This is starting off to look better for Ghosts. Connor's in the server. And who knows if Connor might be even the man to just say, I'm going to call in this situation. Although I imagine it is Davey, if I had to guess.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, because I know Davey used to call back in the day. So.
With constantly shuffling rosters, it's going to be hard to pin that IGL leadership on just one person, right? So you got to be more familiar with the whole system. But Renegades will get this buy-in. So Ghost had the start they wanted. They've already got their 3 T rounds. They've put up a good fight at the time being, but Renegades have guns now, so there should certainly be more of a contest. JKS spots the shoulder peak, and he's going to plume the smoke, try and prevent that push from coming through, and we see that rotate coming through Zed as well. So they're just bolstering that B-site defense. They've got 2 players still at the bottom of the ladder, and then 1 man playing the anchor role towards Ivy. At this point, it'll be very tough for Ghost to either A, entry into the B-site, but also hold on to it, because they've got players already nipping at their heels.
I love how more popular the setup's becoming.
Yeah.
It's been talked about once in a while, but the setup is so strong where you can dedicate 2 players B, 2 players ladder, and 1 player Ivy. Not only are rotations super strong, but the teams have to fight to get this map control. They have to expend something, as Mitch is just playing kind of like peekaboo here. He's down to 52. All he gets is information. But this setup is so strong and difficult to deal with. It takes a real coordinated T-side to get out of it pretty much flawless.
We'll see what they can do. They've removed 1 player from the ladder, and Renegades instead going to double down towards the back of A site. So they're wary of that fast rotate back, but it's in that moment that Neptune executes forward, takes the head of JKS, and while Nexa deals some damage, it's not enough to stop the bomb. We get more forward smokes here from the T side, and as Neptune pushes through, he goes down. 3, 4 consecutive frags here from Renegades. What looked like a round from Ghost just gets obliterated, and Davies just caught chasing Ghosts over towards CT spawn. This defuse comes through, and he can't even stop it.
So you guys had the right idea there, where you get the bomb planted in B, and the right thing to do is aggress. You want to push for info. You want to push for these engagements as it comes through Z. You want to fight them right at the roots, right where they come through, right where they rotate, get into CT, cause them havoc, backstab. But that just got absolutely just demolished. Just demolished. As Ghost will have that bomb plant money, they will have some money stacked up, but Renegades, they're just looking clean with the retake, and they kept so many players alive.
I think if you go for the push like that, you need to make sure that you're not just running blindly through smokes.
Yeah, that was kind of
But also that you get there before Renegades, right? Renegades were already holding those positions forward, so I see the thought process from Ghost, but clearly they struggle with it, right? And all those individual duels happen at the same time, which makes it really hard to trade frag, and that's why Renegades just come out on top. Maybe if Ghost win 1 or 2 of those fights, they still have that fighting chance. Davey has time to go for the long flank, and you know, the play makes a bit more sense, but when it just gets shattered, it's really hard to watch. Renegades get that first one on the board for themselves, and Davey's going to get lit down to 11 HP already before they push forward.
Yeah, they're going to go for the jumping down up peak. JKS gets out of it with his life. Good mollies. You can just stay back sight. Mitch is going to walk up on him. Is timing going to work out for JKS? No! Mitch even had the drop. And JKS still gets 1 before he falls. Wardell is holding and waiting for someone to come out. Z just going to throw a molly. He still deals with Neptune. That was the Ivy pressure. But Azur's find a hole. And Davies going to call it, but Azur's going to continue to walk push. And if he can win this duel with a player on site, no. Wardell is the man to post up on it. As Connor, getting aggressive himself, catches 2 players. Is able to clean up the first and the second with the help of Wardell, actually. So Ghosts have made it this round a bit cleaner than what we've previously seen from them.
Connor's having a great game already, not even just in the amount of kills he's gotten, but just with his ability to kind of open up that bomb site. That was a great play by him. You can see how he just gets behind enemy lines. They never see that coming, and that's what really prevents Renegades from getting that retake rolling, right? That one play from Connor, the opening of the site, and the taking of all that space. Again, this time they get aggressive. This time they go to the root of that rotation, but they get there first. And that's the difference maker. Connor with a big play towards CT spawn. Ghost with a 4th round, and that hard reset versus Renegades. Coming into this map, it is the choice of Ghost, so it would make sense for them to put up a bit more of a fight.
A little more comfortable, a little more tactically sound, and more of a game plan, I suppose, than Mirage. Which, actually, if we're gonna go throwback BMC/Ghost, Mirage is actually, for some reason, the original lineup of Ghosts love Mirage. They actually took United to 6 OTs on that map to make it through the qualifier. So it's interesting to see how that map falls off with the roster changes. As Connor's going to find you still, though, JKS back red is going to get a free upgrade as his teammates, though, just fall simultaneously like dominoes. Bomb's going to go down. Not much Nifty can really do. I think he's just going to fight for his life and try to make some economy impact on towards the Ghost side.
Yeah, he's been able to pluck Neptune off of the Pop Dog, so that's a start. Davies tagged heavily, and another peek alone from Connor93 costs him his life. Suddenly, Nifty's going to be able to contest the bomb site. Near self-flashes, though, and he is incredibly lit. Still has the utility to go for this. He could just smoke off the bomb, go for the underhand flash, and try to make it work. He's really forcing Ghost to take these fights, which could cost them.
That molly.
They're just getting... Oh, my goodness. They're just so so committed to taking this kill, they don't even realize he's not on the bomb. Had he been, could have maybe taken that, but what a chaotic situation that was.
A little crazy. But I guess Ghost is, that's the one thing they have for them, is when they can make these chaotic kind of situations. I feel like maybe they don't, they kind of semi-thrive in chaos. They're the type of dudes where they're very individually talented, and just getting all 5 together on the same page is kind of what's off the map right now. So I feel like in chaos, where they're allowed to show their individual prowess and their individual skill, is where this team kind of needs to be. Just consistent chaos. Although, to go anywhere, structured CS is kind of eventually has to come in.
Yeah, I mean, you can thrive in chaos all you want, but structure will trump it. So, unfortunately for them, versus more established opponents, this could be the explanation as to why they struggle, but it's great to see them putting some rounds on the board. I mean, again, this is a team that is now 0-15, which is really tough to say. But at the same time, it's understandable when they have this constantly shuffling roster, when this was going to be an opportunity for them to get whooped in a league, but at least get that experience.
Yeah.
Now you've split that experience across 9 separate players. Unfortunately, not everyone's getting as much as they might have wanted from this experience. So a win on Train would be fantastic, and they've still put themselves on the right track for it. 5-1 the score versus the Pistols here of Renegades. This should be 6 easy. And who knows what else is in store once they can get to the CT side.
And there's nothing like an experience whooping to make you know you don't want that again.
Yeah.
So if anything, it lights a fire in their bellies to try to change something, make a switch, and really understand the issues. And I think they're aware of the roster issues, kind of. So they'll figure it out as Neptune playing by Fridge, making some dinner and some easy work of these Renegades members onto the clock even to find the third. As Stillo with just a P250. Should fall shortly. Davey is going to check the corner, jumping around, and the SMG will come over and trump the P250. So Ghost, 6 rounds, Renegades to their 1. Renegades will get a buy, includes an op-out on Nifty. And it is going to get armor behind it. It'll get a flash. Now, Renegades are lacking the mollies here. So if Ghost switch it up and go for one of these quick plays, which they're kind of probably, I imagine they're prone to do in this situation with double Mac 10s, it could just spell danger for Renegades unless Nifty is able to just have a free shooting gallery.
I'm always a critic of not upgrading Mac 10s versus full buys. I mean, sure, you've had a great start, but it's not as though their economy is that ridiculous. I mean, JKS takes Davey right away. He just comes flying through a smoke grenade. No flashbang, no teammates, no counter smoke, just a Mac 10 and a little bit of movement there. So an immediate 5 versus 4, a real chance for Renegades to take a second round. And if Ghost aren't careful, they might do it with very few losses. You've already given up that man advantage, which allows for Renegades to just play completely differently. They can just sit back. They have the utility to still counterplay any kind of an execution from Ghost. And while they don't have the Molotovs, as you mentioned, they still at least have some smokes and flashes. More nades coming out from Ghost towards the B site, but we see the bomb rotating towards A, trying to sell the old fake.
We'll see if this is going to work. Renegades, I don't even think they feel obligated to over-rotate anyone or put anyone in a rotator situation in this spot.
That's what a 5v4 does for you.
They can just sit, wait it out, and there's still another Mac 10 for Ghosts. So he's going to go, Mitch is going to be the front man. He wants to eat the bullets but try to find an opener. At least an opening somewhere is Nifty, holding for green bins but willing to flick down if need be, waiting for someone from Ghost to peek into it. It looks like Mitch is going to be the man to take the bait and try to cross here.
Ooh, nice cross. Nifty delays it for a moment when he sees the man in the back line, and that's when Wardell strikes. So 4v4 thanks to the off, but Ustillo gets aggressive towards T-Con, and he will find Neptune. Wardell, in the meantime, posts back on the angle as Ghost, with 10 seconds left to play, need to get towards the site. And that's where Ustillo just hammers it home, finds 2 more, and leaves Wardell all alone. He falls back, no time, and that's a round going the way of Renegades. Easy peasy.
The clock kind of got away from Ghosts there.
Yep.
So they go for a quick play towards B. They're banking on Davey, going down by himself, being like this one-man kind of wrecking machine with a Mac 10, which is kind of unrealistic. Gets shut down immediately. Then Ghosts are like, well, now what do? We've committed all our players to B. We don't have any map control. So they shift walk all the way back to Ivy, get a pick there. Then time kind of just became a reality check, and they felt pressured. And now Renegades get a second. Ghosts will get a rebuy. but it's our chance now for Renegades, keeping as many members alive as they did, to put Ghost in an awkward spot. And a nice opener from Nifty. That's just a sick shot.
Yeah, that's such an aggressive op peek, and even through the fire, right? You see people go for it sometimes, but generally the fire should convince you to go elsewhere. Not in this case. Nifty sticks to it, and it pays off. Why not? Neptune going to get chipped away thanks to the fire and flames, as we find Ghost to the man disadvantage. Op still in the hands of Wardell. We saw him make a pick earlier in the last round, but it's Davey this time who equalizes things back. Hits that headshot onto Justillo, catches him within the trains, and while Nexa takes one, he too is done. Azza with the response, but Wardell finding another of his own here, so it's a 2 versus 2. Wardell revealed, and as he tries to fall away, he too toppled just down to Connor and Nifty. And this round has just been a story of trade frags back and forth over and over until we are left with this, a 45-second 1v1 between Connor and Nifty themselves.
Who's going to outplay who, or who's going to overthink the situation? I think Nifty's in a situation where he almost has to stick to his guns. He doesn't want to get caught rotating, and he also doesn't want to rotate too early himself. And he feels pretty content to just sit here with the op. He can spot T-Con, spot ladder, and peek Ivy just like this. But Connor with a good crosshair placement to pull it over as soon as he saw just the shoulder of Nifty. And Nifty surely had him dead to rights, but Connor being aware enough to have the crosshair at head level, transition it over, easy kill for Connor, as Ghost will go up 7-2. And Renegades are in this kind of limbo economy awkward situation where they'll go for some upgraded pistols, but they know they'll get a good buy next round. And Ghosts are kind of running away with it, though.
This is a situation that is now made easier thanks to that round of the MAC-10s that they lose, right?
Yeah.
It's because Connor wins that 1 versus 1 that they get a hard economic reset, that Renegades are going to continue to struggle, but that's a gamble. If Renegades are able to convert the point and rebuy into this, then suddenly it's Ghost who could have their backs against the economic wall, which is something that, again, if you want to play with, by all means, go for it. And luckily for them, Connor is the only man who makes sure it pays off, right? That clutch was crucial. Mitch towards the B site's able to remove JKS here in the 10th, but it's going to be a pistol aggression towards T-Con that does net Renegades 1 frag in the very least. Davey hits the dirt, but Renegades are left to just 2, and they shouldn't be able to find much more here.
Yeah, they shouldn't be able to get anything in minute 2. But still gets hard cleared. Nifty, though, tapping away, will be able to get Connor as he dissipates into the smoke and into the night like Batman. As Nifty's just going to sit. Neptune tries to tap the bomb to bait him out. Nifty's just content to sit here, waiting to get Swifty. As he is going to line players up. That got deadly. If that's a P250 or a Deagle or anything that deals a little bit more damage, it becomes almost a reality. You have to think for Nifty there. Unfortunately, Ghost will shut him down. They're up to 8. Renegades on 2. Buy from Renegades. UMP, M4s. The Yomp, again, light in the pockets. It's almost been the story of these Renegade buys where they're missing certain pieces to it.
All thanks to those resets. No consecutive points for Renegades as of yet. We'll see if Ghost can do it this time. Neptune, who does lead the charge in the form of frags, leads the charge into A as well. He's already standing out in the open. He's got so many targets in front of him, but he doesn't know which one to choose. It's the man from Zed that he takes the dual versus, and he hits the headshot as well. Nexa goes down as Azza takes 2 of his own. Mitch gets up the ladder, though, and it's swung back round. 3v3 as Wardell flick shots onto JKS. And now the 2 damaged Renegades are left, and that's all that remains of the defense.
I find it very interesting how Mitch is able to get up in towards heaven while running up ladder, and that player up there doesn't hear a peep. And he's still here. And Justillo doesn't even know that he's still hanging out here. Mitch is going to get a second, and there's a third. Mitch must just be super silent when it comes to these plays. The way that he got to hell so quick, got up to heaven, and then was allowed to just sit there for as long as he did, almost shows that Renegades either thought he fell off to back to site, which is almost unrealistic, because he wouldn't push you if he had bomb in that situation, and maybe it's just a miscomm from Renegades, slip of the memory, as Mitch is able to just pounce 9-2. Renegades will have upgraded pistols, 1 flash, and Wardell just going to become this turret that's just going to sit T-Con and just try to find frags. As Ghosts are just, this is looking like an easy 10th round for them.
Yeah, double digits already.
Yeah.
This is a great half on the T side of Train from Ghost. Again, the economy certainly facilitates all this. Those hard resets really hurting Renegades. But they're trying to have a breath of life. Unfortunately for them, nothing as of yet. Neptune's killed. Mitch has dropped to 50, but with only the pistols, they couldn't have asked for much more. JKS gets removed, and that's Ghost now on 10. So
They're looking
excellent
good.
half moving forward. Renegades just seem to lack a response. They'll buy into this one, hoping that they can turn things around. They'll have that op as well to try and counter Wardell, although it hasn't worked as of yet.
Yeah, Ghost are just having an easy time towards Ivy, towards T-Con and B. Their B executions are always solid. Renegades just typically get one kill there and immediately traded. Ghost did a nice job of aggression there that's caught players off. They've done a good job getting bomb plant and just sitting in post plants, forcing Renegades to save. And they've also put the Renegades economy in kind of an awkward state, as Nifty's going to open it up on Wardell this time, though. Typically, the tell of the tape has been Ghost getting the opener and then able to transition and capitalize on that. This time, Renegades get the first. And question is, can they change it? Can they string this together? They get a couple more openers until Davey just answers back. And they're giving room for Davey to work with as they're going to shut him down. So man advantage for Renegades, but here comes Ghost towards B. And Nexa is about to have his hands full.
Yeah, the fire's going to block them off and slightly damage them, but no, he only gets one here. Connor still takes the site, but the bomb's nowhere to be found. So Azza has a real chance of maybe winning this clutch out. He's got a minute on the clock to play off of, a 1 versus 2. And a disjointed terrorist force to deal with. Neptune's going to round the corner. The shadow gives him away, but Neptune still wins the duel. Great headshot. Ghost move things on to 11.
And again, Renegades are on another kind of situation where their economy's almost broken again. And the buys Renegades have been going for have been missing, like the mollies, missing the double flashes. There's been pieces missing, and Ghosts have been capitalizing on it. And it's not even that Ghosts are going for these full-blown executions. They've been pretty basic when it comes to executions. Like left side Ivy smoke is all they've been throwing when they go for Ivy. They even molly right side, okay? So that's pretty basic stuff. We've seen the wall smokes once.
Yep.
It hasn't been anything crazy from Ghost. It's been a default. It's been a pick heavy. It's been a get the frags, send Neptune to lurk, and then pinch and just collide on a site together. It's been just using their raw aim. And you can see how comfortable Ghosts are on this map when it comes to aim. When it comes to the set utility they want to use. And I don't want to jinx it, but, you know, they're getting there. Number 1 could be coming.
It very well looks that way, unless they throw their CT side, which they should be prepared for.
Yeah.
Seeing as, again, Train is a map that Ghosts play quite frequently.
Qualifier monsters is what Ghosts are when it comes to online stuff.
Little aggression from Renegades inside of the box halls, trying to take the fight versus Mitch, and they will with ease. Grab his AK and try to fall back as Connor attempts the trade, but he comes up empty-handed. Frag goes out, deals no damage, and so we'll have to see if Ghost can take the A site instead. This would have been a great time to push. You know that there's already 2 to 3 players in the box halls. This is why Davey's been able to get his way behind the train yard itself. But what does he go from here? With a headshot onto Azza, it's going to create some space, and Wardell posted on the op once more, looking for an additional kill. He'll take it. Davey making quick work of this defense, leaves just Ustillo and JKS still standing.
Still is going to let his presence known towards Ivy. Gets one. Long-range UMP is not going to work out for him. The patch that came out makes the UMP, I mean, it's still viable at range, but a little less viable as 12-2. Renegades, last buy of this half, it will be another op-out on Nifty, who's been kind of falling silent. Ghost has been a good job of kind of like corking him and keeping him at least under control, or Mirage. Nifty was just all over the place, all over Ghosts. But it's been kind of the Wardell show. It's been the entry show from Connor, Mitch. Davey's been there with support. And Neptune has just been this lovely lurk who can entry when need be, but his lurks are so good on train.
JKS gets aggressive towards the smoke once more. He takes the headshot to open it up, but Mitch, again, with a response here. Ghost just all across the kill feed. I mean, this is reminiscent of Mirage, but the scores have just been swapped, right? We see these heavy aim plays. We don't see all too many executions, although we know that they're there. We do see Ghost go once or twice for them. This time, Davey behind enemy lines again, and he finds Stilla with his back turned, but it's Azza with another headshot here for Renegades and a man advantage, possibly a 3rd round on the board.
Wardell's going to get that molly backside, and he's just going to hold, but Nifty holding the angle. Connor, last one remaining, shut down from Azza as the spray is just off the mark. So 12-3, superb T-half from Ghost. There's not much else you can say about it. Their executions when they went from there, but they really relied on the picks from Wardell, the picks from the lurker, and just the sound default that always normally net them the first kill, if not immediate trade. And it was a lot of just aim duels that went Ghost's way, which is different from Mirage in so many ways.
Look at that. Neptune just leading the charge here for Ghost. Had a bit of a quieter game on Mirage, and this time he's really come to life. But that's the story of Ghost, right? It's always relying on these sorts of moments where an individual can just step up to such a pedigree that it kind of drags the rest of the teammates up there with him, right? Because Neptune's hitting shots and finding all sorts of crazy entry frags and long lurks, well, that allows for guys like Connor to do the same. Allows for guys like Mitch to push elsewhere and win his duels. All you need is one person to first go off before the whole team starts rolling. And speaking of rolling, Renegades just straight towards the box holes. They take 2 frags already, and Ghost left deflated to defend this site.
No kid on Ghosts. Nifty's going to smoke down lower, and Renegades are in an interesting spot where they can A, commit to this, or B, just sit on the hand advantage they have and just wait for Ghost to make the mistake. As they already had a player down ladder, they're going to smoke in towards B and try to get out here. Connor Gush to 1 HP. Mitch is going to have to come through the smoke because he gets one before it blooms. Connor dies without a frag as Mitch and Neptune in a 2v4. Without a kit, Neptune gets hurt. Nifty clotheslines him. Batista bomb, if you will, as Mitch made it down to 55. And Renegades will pick up a pistol that, as we kind of said last map, goes without saying, that's desperately needed.
Yeah, it gives them a chance to at least start to mount some kind of a comeback. Yeah. And even if they don't take it the distance, they'll at least put up a respectful score. Which is always worth something, you know. Renegades are in a position right now in the standings where, in the end, round differential could count. I believe they're within one of 4 teams currently tied, and you always want to avoid those relegation matches, right? So while Ghosts are at the very, very bottom with 0 wins, this could be their chance to put one on the board, and Renegades have a reason to fight back themselves.
Even if it's only 1 win, they can technically get a second if they make Renegades drop out of a spot that could have either A, been a LAN, or B, just knockout moving on. So you're right, Ghost can still get some form of a W on the board. As Azur's going to peek this, great flash. Davy's only able to get a body tag. If the crosshair was just a little bit up more, he would have been able to clean the frag. As it looks, Renegades are just going to settle in the very similar kind of default to what Ghosts ran. Ghosts, although they did love the Ivy kind of pressure in their default. Renegades aren't there yet. They're just going to hold back, knowing Ghosts are kind of an aggressive team when it comes to pistols, and you can kind of tell they're right in this assumption, as they have a player pushed up T-Con, a player peeking Ivy, and a player pushed into ladder. So aggressive angles used from Ghosts, but not too many aggressive peeks or pushes coming in from them.
Yeah, they're in the right spot to use these pistols, but they're not just throwing their lives away. Yeah. Which is an improvement in what Ghost would have done, yeah, say 3-4 months ago. Regardless of their record as far as the league is concerned, just in sheer level of play and decision making, I think it's unarguable there's been improvement. Which again is one of the takeaways from this kind of an opportunity, right? They qualify through the ECS Development League. They would have been expected to kind of get a whooping. But as long as they benefit from it, that's all that's important. Davey, from afar, hits the headshot onto Nifty, and this gets Wardell tucked in the corner. Azza's going to have the heads up to check it, and the bomb plant comes through. Now, it is still a 3 versus 4 here to the favor of Renegades, but Neptune with another frag makes it ever the closer. And he's going to try to close the distance, finds another. Great Deeg play as he swaps out to the takes the ladder, finds another frag, and it's just down to JKS. JKS will respond with one of his own, but this leaves it just down to Mitch, who will come out on top, and Ghost have themselves a round.
What Neptune did there that was extremely intelligent, and I think you noticed it, while he was going up ladder, he shot, like, I think it was 7 bullets from his UMP. So the louder noise of him walking up didn't completely get heard. So he was able to get up there almost, I bet you could still hear it, but you'd have to focus on the sound of the ladder. You'd have to be very aware, as all you hear is a UMP going off. So Neptune hits this ringer, fires bullets while going up the ladder on his UMP to try to mask his sound, and still had enough bullets to win this engagement with a Stillo. It's easy to say Neptune single-handedly won this round from Ghosts.
Yeah, that was awesome from him. I mean, he's already had that really great first half, and now he shuts down Renegades the moment they put a round up. This allows for Wardell to invest into the op, and Renegades' economy is just shattered.
Yep.
What a serious turn of events there from Ghost. So while Renegades had the chance to make it respectful, not anymore. All thanks to Neptune. He gets aggressive on the B site, and just a fantastic retake from a very disadvantageous round.
Certainly wasn't looking good. That's being not looking good. Renegades get picked early. JKS has nothing going for him. He's dead. They have a Glock. They have 2 Deagles and a Tech 9. And little no map control is. Stillo is calling for the bomb. But Ghosts are aware what a Stillo's up to. He's shoulder peeking. He's trying to buy time. Connor should shut this down by himself, but the bomb does squeak through. So Renegades, for investing just upgraded pistols, they kind of made out like bandits here, though Ghost will be on 14.
Made out like Renegades
Damn.
with a bomb plant.
Fell into that one, didn't I?
He's got the diesel. He's trying to find some kind of a kill, but again, he's in a position where he can't stop the defuse. So now he'd love to walk away with his life. Ghost sitting on 14, one away from securing OT. The cash flow is there behind them, and the same can be said for Renegades. They're going to have that full buy with the op included for Nifty. So they still have the chance to put some rounds on the board, but it all comes down to this. If they lose this one, their money is gone, and so are their chances of a comeback.
See what Renegades are up to. It's an early couple flashes thrown in with smokes behind it. JKS trying to make a trial up towards Sandwich. Molly's and nade damage combined. He's down to 43. They have a good idea what's happening. Neptune pushes through the Molly as Mitch burns one himself. Azur immediately drops to Connor as Nifty. He's trying to do some work from top trains. Brings it to a one-man advantage for Renegades. Wardell and Davey trying to hold on to the site. Davey doesn't have a smoke in front of him, but the bomb is ticking as Wardell gets himself towards Ivy. As this retake starts to form, but there is no kit, and I think there may have been one somewhere on one of these Renegade or one of these Ghost members. But Renegades are looking good to just sit up, and I think Ghosts are content to concede this with such a round lead they have. Yeah, and they didn't even have a chance to save. So Renegades get 5. More notably, they keep 3 living and keep it off going.
Yeah, they walk away with enough to still have these full buys, right? Which again is what they'll need for the very large task ahead of them. 11 consecutive rounds if they decide to walk away with the win. Not a single space for error unless they want to fight OT, which again will just be a feat in and of itself. So I didn't know you could jump there. Op shot up close. Nifty gonna get traded back by Mitch. Yustillo, however, is there as well. So again, we find the Ghost players just toppling one after another. Great little anti-eco here for the most part from Renegades.
Yeah, losing one member is no harm, no foul, unless they give another opportunity for Neptune to find back into this. Not going to be the case. Connor was just a scout. Look for him to try to find Yustillo, as are a couple other players. Just deal some damage with it. As Renegades will get number 6. Ghosts are going to have to wait a little bit until they can actually get a good buy on the board, as he will find one. And he's looking for some more. Don't think he spotted that player by old hell. So Connor should die as soon as he peeks, and that's going to be the case. Nexa puts a bullet into him. So 14-6. And Ghost will get a buy here, and I think it is going to include an op out on Wardell. So we'll see where Wardell is going to become a turret and how many times he's going to repeak.
Did he get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. There it is. So there will be the op duel. Absolutely right. Renegades, again, surviving with 3 players, keeps this dream rolling. And once they get to double digits, I'm going to give it some real legitimacy. But that's the first challenge. Again, even if they get to 10, lose a round and can still force the OT, that's something to play off of, right? No shame, no foul. Neptune gets redirected thanks to the smoke. We do have that 3-man setup towards the A site for Ghost, and Nifty's going to go for a boost, just trying to pluck a man off the back lines.
I've seen that work a couple times, where a player's spotting from back red ladder just to play it super safe in certain stressful situations. So it's a nice boost just to clear back red ladder spot or player back Z, looking for just info. As the bomb is going to get picked up in showers, and it looks like Nifty's just going to come back to T-Con. So you may see Renegades send one player in B, or just send both those players down the ladder and go for an execution towards A. They still have the smokes, they still have the mollies. But the one thing they have going against them is they don't have T-Con control. So Connor can kind of just sit here and just call for a team flash as soon as he hears those pins and the smokes coming over. Although he did back out.
Yeah, the players from ladder can also just easily pluck him out if he's trying to get these guys in T-Con. And that's exactly what he's going to do. He takes both duels, Connor and Mitch with 2. Wardell takes the 3rd, and it's up to Nifty to respond back with something. He's found 3 frags now as he gets one through the smoke, and suddenly this is still doable. Nifty single-handedly putting his team on his back and making this one competitive. But there's still 2 frags to find and only 20 seconds to do so.
Nifty down to 17. And speaking of 17, that's how much time was just on the clock. As Davey in the position to shut down this round, gets one. JKS realizes this. Doesn't have a molly to deal with him. Gonna try to get to site and planet. Davey wide swings, but he gets caught. 3 seconds. Wardell doesn't even have to peek. JKS can't get the plant. 15 for Ghosts, and to add more salt into the wound. Ghosts find JKS after time. Look at the money on Renegades. They're kind of broke, at least on Azure and JKS's standpoints. So they will still get a buy with AK's ops, but these Tech 9s are really what's going to become the issue here as Ghosts look to push this one over the line.
Yeah, what was really keeping Renegades in this game was that they were consecutively surviving with 3 players each round. That is what just kept their money on the brink of destruction, but now that card's been dealt. It's just down to the 3 rifles, but Nifty again with an opening pick, this time onto Wardell. Great up-close play. Now, Davies trying to fake this out. He uses the smoke to convince them he's not here, and while he catches them surprise by surprise, the Tech 9 still comes out on top. Yustilo closes the distance by pushing forward, and this is a great round from Renegades, again, thanks to Nifty.
He's just turning up when they need him to. The op getting the entries, the ops getting the clutches, as Mitch. I think he's just looking for some kind of exit, same with Neptune. So Ghosts are still, they can close this out, but Renegades are now fighting for OT, fighting for this map, as Ghosts 1 round away from putting one on the board. I said it before, I'm still happy for him, as Neptune's going to find Azure, looking for the second, Nexus shuts it down. So Renegades will get lucky number 7. And Nifty's on 21 frags, you're right. Whenever he has the op, and he's given room to work with, so if his teammates can support him to get him out T-Con, he just becomes a menace to deal with when he gets on trains, opping from different angles. And Ghosts haven't really found a way to deal with him yet. As look at the Ghost money. It's going to be, do you invest around a UMP? Probably not. So this is going to be 8 for Renegades?
Yeah, Renegades had that 1 round to play with, and now Ghosts have secured OT with that, right? So it's going to be 8 consecutive they're looking for. Had they been able to get towards 10, 11 rounds before they give it up, then the odds of this comeback are ever so higher. But in this case, they shouldn't be allowed to walk away with it, despite getting what will be an easy round. I mean, it is just the vanilla pistols and Mitch on that ump. First to falls Wardell as JKS holds his ground. 2 more players present themselves, and he near finds another. Flick shot near on point. Yustilo from behind the boxes takes the next. So, as expected, Ghost fall 1 after another.
All across the board, Renegades finding frags. Mitch still has 6 UMP to deal damage, but Renegades get 2 openers, immediately just fall back. They read this push from Connor like a book. Nothing Connor can do in that situation other than maybe just sit in T-Con. But you have to make a play when you're down 2 members, and you're the only one with a UMP. So he feels almost obligated to try to take that push, as Ghosts will just get cut apart. Mitch and Davey can try to at least salvage something left on the table. Maybe a scrap, maybe 1 frag. They're banking that Renegades come to be, but Renegades are content now to just run out to an empty site.
Yeah, they just need to get this bomb plant, and that really seals the deal. Mitch would love to walk away with the save at this point. I mean, again, he was the only player coming in with something to work with, so if he's the only guy going out, no harm done. Renegades, again, they needed those earlier rounds with as much money as possible. And while the money is not going to be the biggest issue for, obviously, rebuys of a full loss, because they can't afford it, it's just the fact that even if they lose 4 guys in a clutch situation, they can still always guarantee those rebuys. They can get these double-up setups that they're currently holding on to. Money is nice in this case, and 5 players surviving is exactly what they'd hope for.
So $1,900 next round for Ghosts. Now, I don't even know if that's almost enough to justify a buy. It is on a couple players, but with Mitch on 1,500, it's like, it's going to be interesting to see if Ghosts, how much they're willing to invest. And with the amount of rounds they have to work with, do you really want to risk it and go put it all on the line? So Connor and Davey can't really afford much here. I honestly would have been content with a half buy here. Although Wardell can afford the op, I think even just pistols and armor with the amount of rounds you have to work with is justified. Although you can kind of argue the counterpoint saying with the amount of rounds they have to work with, a buy here is justified. But I think a half buy, get a full buy next round, end it, get it done with. Instead, you're allowing the bleeding to almost continue.
Double up, double M4, and an op on Wardell. 2 kits, enough nades. They've got what it will take to put this round away, but the double op setup from Renegades is what they're going to be relying on again, just trying to find those opening picks. Nex is keeping his eye out towards Ivy, and that's where Neptune could get aggressive, but again, with only an ump, why should he? The range at that position is certainly not going to help. Renegades still have the control of T-Con. They've got the players that can come help from ladder if they so choose. And it's going to be Nifty. Who else to look for that opening pick?
Yeah, he's going to go up top blue, try to find someone. He gets caught while on the ladder, pushes up, but instead doesn't like the angle he's given and just going to fall back. Knowing he doesn't have anyone else in T-Con to help him out, it's safe for him to just fall back, knowing there's still a minute on the clock at that time, and he's willing to just concede that kind of control for now, knowing that he can call for a player to come back him up. So a player's going to rotate, flash over, allow Nifty to get out and look for another peek, as Connor on the site's going to need some help. But Mitch can really shut this round down by himself.
Go with that opening frag. Near finds a second, but it's still just straight back immediately. Connor getting aggressive and really pushing forward with the SMG until Azza and JKS take two. Wardell removed from the equation, leaving it just down to Davey. And with a 1 versus 3, bomb plant and bound, the odds from slim to none. He has no utility to get out of this position. The smoke finally dissipates, but they're already in their post plants. And unless they allow him to just squeak by, this should be another round for the Renegades.
Yeah, I think Davey's just going to sit here for a little bit, maybe try to catch a Renegade member, then fall back himself. He's just going to sit and wait it out. Renegades, more importantly, get an op out on JKS. We'll see if next or Az are going to rotate back to pick up the second one that got dropped on Nifty. It'll be interesting to see if they want to save that or just continue with one op. They can justify it either way because a double op's working, but so if just a single op on Nifty. It looks like Davey's going to try to find some exits. Gets one. Can he get away from the bomb in time? He cannot, so he's only able to get one frag. Nothing saved from Ghosts. Renegades now move up to 9. As you can look at the money on Ghosts. They're kind of back to picking at straws, and what do they go for?
Nothing.
Upgraded pistols? Nothing? Like they really need a strong buy. They can't afford to keep going for these mixed bag of nut buys where you don't know really what you're going to get.
They should have nothing coming into their favor this round. I mean, the double CZ and P250 should be easily dispatched of. We see Nifty again going for these aggressive op peaks towards the A site, and he spots 0 targets, which is always a red flag. Why is there nobody here on the site? Because they're trying to stack the brown hulls. And all 3 frags at that point go the way of Renegades. They quickly dispatch the push and suddenly transition their way towards A instead. So playing on the knife's edge and switching back in a matter of seconds. It's Mitch from afar, Davey nowhere to be found. Again, a round for Renegades.
Yeah, this bomb's going to go down. The bomb play may get contested. I don't even think Mitch is going to bother peeking. He's going to try to get one as soon as the bomb goes down. But with Mitch and Davey, they're worth $700. You might as well just commit yourself to this and try to find something, some damage to Renegades. But even damage dealt, they're going to buy every round anyway. It doesn't even matter at this point. Ghosts just need to find some footing, find a way to end this game. As it is getting closer and closer every round that goes away. This is going to be 10, and then next is going to be 11. So the Ghosts will get a bye, but it's kind of getting to the danger zone where you start to think of OT and you start to think of all the mistakes that have been kind of piling up.
I mean, that's one of the biggest issues with, newer up-and-coming teams is their ability to close out matches. And now we have Ghost sitting on 15, trying to deal with the economic struggles, going into these weird buys as seen in the 2 previous rounds. Renegades have gotten into the double digits, and they're putting up a fight, but it should have never gotten this close if you consider how one-sided that opening half was, right? Unfortunately for Ghost, they've let it slightly slip through their fingers. They've already secured OT, so that's at least a sigh of relief. Were they still sitting on 14? It's a whole other ball game, mentally speaking. They have that 15th round. They've got 5 opportunities to close it, and they've got a gun round here with a timeout called. This is their chance to win.
Yeah, it's a moment to compose yourself, realize, okay, all those previous buys, they may have been wonky, they may not have been everything we need, but this is the buy we can actually close things out on. We got the op, we got utility, we have mollies, we have kits. This is the round we can actually close this out, get a W over Renegades, cause a little bit of a stir, and just be content, knowing how much they've learned throughout the process of ECS. As we jump into this round, we're going to see an early flashover, which leads to a peek coming up from Azur. He's just going to jump out. He's done this before. Can Wardell catch him in time? This time he will, so Azur goes down. As Wardell's going to look for some more towards top green. But nothing else can be shown from Renegades as Nifty immediately answers back. And he's given some room to work with this Connor this time. Wardell just misses that shot as Connor bails out his teammate. Man advantage now for Ghosts.
Wardell's already posted on the angle as the T is near line up, but no, Ustillo finds the frag and a bit of space for Renegades to play off of here as they execute out from Ivy. Connor and Neptune, they take 2, and suddenly it's down to JKS. Responding back with one of his own, the bomb in front, but a man behind, and that could be his demise. He tries to catch it, the timing just working out for him, and he hits the headshot as well. Davey down, and JKS with a very real chance of closing out this round. The bomb, again, still in front. And he has no clue where Connor's gotten to. He was last seen above in the office, and since then moved to Old Bomb.
He's been super silent as Connor. As he's going to walk out, and JKS gets the best timing you could ever hope for. Catches Connor just walking out as JKS peeks it, and Renegades get to 11. And it's starting to happen again. It's starting to, the teeter-totter starting to even out a bit more as Renegades get 11. Obviously, it's going to be a full buy, safe buy, everything they have on the table as Ghosts are kind of in this awkward transition phase again. There will be pistols, UMP, waiting to get the op, waiting to get the rifles once again. And this round's going to be 12. Next round's going to be 13 when they actually get a goodbye. It's starting to get a little scary.
Yeah, absolutely. Connor's going to creep into T-Con, but he doesn't clear his corner, so he walks right by one man. Ustillo's going to trade it back, but he's already lost JKS. Still, Renegades in control of the situation. There's no reason to start sweating at this point. It's just Ghost on a deflated buy.
Hazard starting to push through bathrooms, pushing some info. Davey has aggressed with that UMP. We'll see if he has any impact with it. He is playing a nice off angle that if you walk it down, you have to actually wide swing on his position to spot him. As Wardell's going to pick up the mantle, pushing into T-Con. Nice 1D on Astillo. Davey's position will get, well, wide swing on from Azar to clean him up. As Renegades are now going to push into sight, hold for the quick rotations. Good smoke to allow that player to get out, but also Renegades get the bomb down safely as Nexa pushing up oil. Should clean up Neptune in a moment's notice, and he will. But not until Mitch makes some waves.
Nifty already with the heads up that the CTs are behind enemy lines, and Mitch with the AK, he takes one, so it's just down to Wardell now, revealing himself with the Deeg, but down to low health, and he too toppled. Nexa finds the frag, and Renegades continue on this comeback. Only 3 rounds left, Seaside. I counted Renegades out, I really did, and they have actually put up one hell of a fight here on Train. Ghost with the buyback into this. They still have that full round loss bonus. And we saw, of course, the save for both Neptune and Wardell in the last with only Deagles. The other players had Kevlar and a couple bells and whistles. But what that gets them is a double op setup on the CT side of Train. This is a little bit of a change up and could be the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, first time we've seen it from Ghost. So you know you're desperate when you whip out the double op. It's something that's been talked about where when in doubt, you pull out the double op. It's something that secures lanes. It allows you to rotate a player early if you want to leave an op as an anchor on Ivy, for example, / back green. It gives you a bit more security in the word of this, like in the sense, as Renegades are just going to throw bomb and 3 players towards upper brown. They have 1 player, or they're now just going to throw smokes towards A and shuffle those 2 players back to B. So this is going to be an execution for 1 player. Davey had to hold on, if not get a frag. Instead, it is just Asa down to 4 HP. As Renegades have an open B site. Ghosts were not ready for it. They just bit extremely hard onto those smokes towards outer A, and now they're trying to fight back into a B site where Renegades have strong post plans.
An advantage as well, though Azan is still a lit. Nifty finds Wardell, so Connor and Neptune have it all on their shoulders, and Connor takes 2. Neptune, we've seen him already retake superbly on this site. He's going to smoke it off first and foremost with a flash in hand. He's going to try to full stick this, and Renegades are getting desperate. They're spraying, they're knifing, and Ghost win it like that. Of course. How else to find their very first win of the season?
Wow. Well, that's, I just was waiting for the overtime to start again. It seemed like Ghost were unable to win any matches in ECS, no matter what their advantages were, but it took a smoke diffuser gimmick in the end to take it over the line, but a win is a win, and finally they got off that 0. So congratulations to Ghost, nice to see Connor back on the server as well. Very dominant first half from Ghost, but again, I don't know if it's a pressure thing which stops them from being able to close games out when they have the advantages. Again, they had match points versus SK, and